Hi guys, welcome back. Now I said on my video on Monday that this was I'm not going to do the stage again, but I've definitely got a little bit of motivation today and decided to give it another shot. So, stage 2, rolling with MB, breakfast, crits and grits. This time, what I've done is I've been a little bit more comfortable in the race this time because I know the route. So I've broken this video down into what I think are kind of the breaking points of each of the races, and some of the things that I found the second time round after doing it again that I would like to share with you. So please let me know once you've watched this if this has helped. Enjoy. So this is in the 510 to 650 category, and as you can see we've got 36 people in the pen, so it's pretty good numbers. So I've gone for the Canyon Air Road, and it's fully levelled up to level 5. Like most Zwift races then, you can expect that we're doing over 5 watts per kilo out the gate, right, on this flat bit, but it's not flat for long. It's a very short lead in, but what it will take you up is it give you an insight and an understanding of the final climb. So you'll do the Sgurr Summit, and as we go around this corner then we'll hit one of our first banners of the day, and this will be either the power-ups for today will either be an anvil or a feather, and I'll break down the kind of best use of both on most of the climbs today. So as we round the corner then, we do our first ascent of the Sgurr Summit, and it's about 1 kilometre long, average 3.3%. Don't be fooled, this is a tale of 2 climbs, and you'll see here on the lead in, the watts are going through the roof. So the ramp at the beginning is a real focal point. The bit in the middle, which a lot of people tend to rest on, seems to be the part where a lot of riders kind of break away. Now you'll see I've got the feather. I've decided not to use it on the first part of the ramp, right? And I've decided just to, and I'm still with the group, I've decided to save it for the second part of the ramp, because at this stage everyone's quite fresh, and I got up that steeper part at the beginning by just getting out the saddle and dropping, going up a couple of gears. So then as we get over this orange bit here, then I start considering when I'm going to use my feather, and I'm going to use it at the bottom of the next ramp. And again, everyone's doing above 4 watts per kilo on this. This is an ACAT race, so obviously your category will be slightly different accordingly. But then as I get to this, I decide that now's probably the best time to use the power up, and then again just get out the saddle, go up a couple of gears. My RPMs come down a little bit. I'm just using my weight on the pedals to get over the top of this. And for this first part, I take it relatively easy when I'm at the top. The second time we ascend this, I'll talk about it in a slightly different way. But then we go through the banner, and again, as we go through the banner, you've got the option of the anvil or the feather. And if you get an anvil, like I did, just use it straight away as a bit of a recovery. So moving on then, we move into the city. And we're going to start looking at the Clyde Kicker, bit of a favourite of mine. So the Clyde Kicker then is 300 metres long, and an average of 3.3%, but again, very similar to the last one. It's broken into 2 parts. So this first little ramp here, if you've got a feather, you can hit the feather from now, because it's about a 30-second climb, and then it'll last all the way to the top. But I wouldn't go crazy right now. Right, save everything and just wait for it, and then as you get to this crossing, just go up a couple of gears, get out the saddle. You'll see orange numbers starting to appear, mainly by me, but a couple of others, and just sail to the top, and at the top you will then get another power up. So again, another feather or anvil, right? A little bit of recovery down here, and then there's another kick up not long afterwards. With that then, just make sure you stay on the pedals. You see I got the anvil, I didn't use it here, I used it a little bit later, and just get up out the saddle again for this little ramp. Right, it's not categorized, right, but it can cause splits. And then you've got a couple of rulers here. So fast forward then, this is the champion sprint. Right now it's not a sprint point, but it is another banner. And what I would say is, depending on what you get here, it kind of depends on the next climb. So if you get an anvil, right, it's pretty pointless for the next kind of ramp. But if you get a feather, make sure you save it, and we'll talk about where to deploy that next. So this is not a categorized climb, but this is what I was talking about the use of the feather that you get in the champion sprint. So this is only kind of a 2, no more than 3% incline, but people are pushing on the pedals, right? It tends to be above 4 watts per kilo for a lot of it. I'm saving a little bit of energy here, so I'm not doing too bad. But then I use the feather, right? Normally I wouldn't use a feather on something like this. However, at the top of this climb, there is a roundabout and there is another banner. So this is all about saving energy and not burning as many matches. And as we go through this banner now then, this is past the roundabout, kind of determine what you get next, whether you save it or not. So in this instance, I got a feather, so I'm just going to completely keep it. If I got the anvil though, I would deploy it roundabout now, because now we are approaching the Castle Corkscrew climb. Now if you are feeling it and you want to use your power up, I quite like this climb, so I don't particularly use a power up on it. The best time to deploy it is in this flags now, but if not, go out the saddle, go up a couple of gears and just power through. And again, orange numbers, I always just end up sailing to the front on this and keep pushing round to the top of the climb. Once you hit the descent then, a little bit of recovery before the 4 ascents of the Breakaway Brae reverse. So the Breakaway Brae reverse then, is 400 metres long, average 2.1%. It's a really steady climb. Now I'd suspect your first time round of the 4 that you're going to do is possibly going to be your fastest, and for me in this race it definitely was, which is exactly the same as the first time. If you get a feather, good time to use it is in and around the time just before the orange section, but every time we get to the orange section I just get out the saddle and just go up a couple of gears just to save my legs a little bit. When we get to the top then and we round the corner, you will get a power up every single lap on this one. If you get an anvil, use it straight away on recovery. If you get a feather, save it for the same point. Expect the first one to be probably the quickest one. It's about 38 when that, I don't know, 37. I'll skip the middle 2 and we'll push forward to my last ascent of it then. So I was expecting this one to be a lot quicker. I think I did 37.52, which was on my first lap. The second 2 laps were a little bit slower. This one too was a bit slower. You'll note that I also don't have a power up because I did get an anvil, so I did use that on the recovery, but it's all about what power up am I going to get. And you can see people are starting to attack now. This is not a great attack point. There's still 5k of climbing and rolling terrain to go, so this is not an ideal place to go, and I wouldn't suggest trying to attack now because you're just burning matches for punchier parts of the race a little bit later on. So as I went through the banner and I got a feather, and it's really important to note that I got that. So what we're going up now then, around the corner, is the reverse of the Corkscrew Castle Climb. I have my feather, but it's such a short ramp, it's not categorised, so it's not on Zwift Insider, and it is just a couple of pumps out of the saddle, as long as the rest of the pack's not going crazy. to stay in contact. And then as you get over the top, if you've got an anvil from the previous banner, at the top of here is a good opportunity to use it, because it's probably the last time you could use it, and to be any effect. But we're going down the Corkscrew Castle Climb now, so you know how steep that is. So as you can see, people are starting to deploy the anvil now. Now, I've been very comfortable in this race so far. Very, very comfortable, because I have not gone into the wind at all. I've stayed in the draft. So now you've got this kind of long drag. It isn't categorised again, but this is what would be the run into the Castle Corkscrew climb. So you have been down it. And as you go up it, the watts will go up 4 or 5 watts per kilo, I would expect. There is a little bit of a orange part in the middle, and you'll notice I've saved my feather. So I've saved the feather because, again, at the top, like coming down the opposite way, you will cross near the roundabout, and there is a banner you will go through before the Sgurr Summit again. So as we get to the orange bit, I decide to use my feather, and I know it's a risk because I might get an anvil at the next one, but it's all about trying to get to that bottom climb, the bottom of the final climb, as fresh as possible. So people are still jostling for position now, still some are above 5 watts per kilo and then just dropping off. And we are still quite a big bunch for this stage of the race. And it is a little bit worrying that we're going to hit the bottom of the climb with possibly 30 riders still. Because I got 20th the other day, so what I didn't want to do is get any lower than that. But it's not going crazy at this stage, and my heart rate's only in the 170s. My threshold's 185, if anyone wants to know. And as we go through the banner, I've got all fingers and toes crossed on the hope of a feather. So hopefully that's what I get. And I get a feather. And then as we hit the Sgurr Summit again then, so my game plan is to hit the base hard, but without using my feather. And as you can see, some people are deploying feathers nice and early. And I find myself kind of sitting in around the top 10 on this first ramp here. Now, where I had the bit of a schoolboy error was coming off the pedals now, because this flat earth section is where they start riding away from me. So if you're going to do that, just be prepared that some of the later riders might carry on and stay on the power. And this is where I was starting to get swamped by quite a lot of riders. But in my head, I was thinking it's all about that last climb. And it's all about using the feather on the last climb. And that's what I was saving it for. Now this is about a 148. That's what I've done it in before. But about a 150 effort, up to 2 minutes for some people. And then as we get to this flatter section here, right, I've already started to see riders coming flying past me. And I go into a little bit of panic mode, get ready to deploy the feather. And then as soon as I deploy the feather, I have to go, right? So a feather's going, and then I'm out the saddle, and I'm just looking down as much as I can and just trying to power on. So as I'm powering up this hill then, using the feather, if you were to get the anvil, now would be the time to use it. And if you've got steering to every single corner, as you can see I am now, pop the anvil and you'll get a little bit of a run in here. And then I cross the line, and I'm still a bit, but I crossed the line 8, which is an improvement from the other day. And if you're not on the floor after this ride, then you've not worked hard enough. I hope you've enjoyed this though. Well, that was it. So I've had 2 pretty tough races already this week, with Monday doing this stage on Monday, and it being very, very tough. Tuesday, if you have a look at my live from yesterday, the ladder race was relentless. So today my legs were not exactly firing on all cylinders, but somehow I pulled out some kind of motivation to do it. And I bet I got 20, 21, 22, maybe even 20th on Monday. And to get 8th place today, I was quite happy with that. I think that's probably the best I could do on there. But I did find, and I hope you will, if you revisit this like I revisited it, certain points of it a little bit easier, because sometimes the fear of the unknown can be the kind of the biggest stumbling block, and therefore you're in a little bit more stress on the race. If you know what's coming, it's kind of half the battle. And I felt like I was in a very comfortable position. You can see that from like my heart rate and stuff. My positioning was a lot better all the way to the final climb. But just sometimes you come against better riders, and you've just got to accept that. That's not you're not going to win every race. If you come onto Zwift expecting to win every race, just quit Zwift right now, because it's not about winning. It's about personal gains. And my new trainer, right? So I did it on a different trainer today, and that seems to be a little bit smoother, so it's good, right? So I'll contribute that to some of the reasons why I did a little bit better. But if you've enjoyed this and you'd like me to do this again, so this is more importantly, if you'd like me to do this again, as in race this stage, well, not this stage, because I'm not doing this one again, but if you want me to race any stages multiple times, and give my second take on it, or my revisit, and hints and tips afterwards, then please let me know in the comment section. And also, if you're not subscribed, please drop a sub, right there, wherever it is. I'm getting close. I'm at 625 at the film of this, so I'm still on my goal for 1,000 by Christmas. So please try and help me out with that, and I'll keep trying to bring some good content. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.